All right, everyone. It's another Friday, and welcome to Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And as you can tell, we're going to have a crazy show today. So we've got the guys from GraphXSource, Lucas and Nick, here to talk all about whatever they do, which is about automating your creative process. So how you doing, guys?
Doing great.
Man, excited to be on the show, Marshall. I love these things, so big fan.
And Lucas and Alan are somewhere right now. So where are you guys?
I am at the DAX show, actually in a booth of one of my dealers. We're doing the show from there. Lucas was here, but he fled to some unknown location.
I fled to my hotel room where I had reliable internet access.
That's great. That's great. And we're going to get into a bunch of stuff right now. So if you're just joining us, what we'd like you to do is make sure you log in and say hello. We want to know where you're watching from. And also, this is a Q&A show, which means we need something. What do we need, Alan?
We need shares. We need you to share right now. We need you to listen live and tell your friends and family about it.
Well, we also need questions.
And we need questions.
Yeah, so we need your questions. That's how the show works, is you ask stuff and we answer.
If we don't have your questions, then Nick and Lucas go into their little routine, which is scary.
It is scary. We don't have control over them because they're not here with us. They're somewhere else. All right.
And if you know Lucas and Nick, they're great guys. So.
Yeah. So let's say good morning to some folks just to get going here. So Sean's watching from Alpharetta. David Eggers is here,
Alpharetta,
and he
Georgia,
says,
Sean.
Nick, Lucas. Is that like the soccer thing, like goal, right? And then Josh is watching from Oklahoma. Good morning. Hey, Josh.
From Oklahoma, Josh. So,
hey,
Josh, how you doing?
Please say hello. We got Mr. Marks in. Hey, guys. And Davis is watching from Pennsylvania. Hey, guys, what's up? So, thanks for joining us, and we're going to get into a bunch of cool stuff. But what I want to get going right now is with our sponsor. While everybody is saying hello, I'm going to run our commercial. What do you think, Alan?
I think so. GSG is actually here at the show, too, so stop by, see us all.
That's right. Well, here we go. That's awesome, and it's like earworm time. I can't get that song out of my head. You know, if you're if you're listening to this from our audio podcast, GSG is going to give us actual commercial with words soon. This is just so. Thanks for listening to their little music.
Yep.
By the way, Brian says, good morning. I may see you tomorrow, Alan.
Yep.
Are you still working the booth on Saturday?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yep,
cool.
We'll both be there.
Hey,
good,
Brian.
Good. That's great.
Well, I know I will be there tomorrow.
I am. I'm only going to be here till about 1 o'clock. My flight leaves at 2:30. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, you got a comment from David that I'm sure you guys are going to like. GraphXSource is the best way to get SEPs done and also have a cost-cutting way of getting art and SEPs done. Why have a crabby artist or one that doesn't always show up? Graphics is there 24/7.
365. 365.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, man. Also, Josh from IGG. I love that guy. I'm telling you, he's been one of our clients, for going on a year now. 2 artists with the whole system. Josh has trained our team unbelievably.
So one of you guys, we'll just start with you, Nick. Why don't you tell everyone, if you haven't heard about GraphXSource, what you guys actually do and why should anybody care?
Yeah, pretty good point, right? That's the whole nucleus. Yeah. Man, so back, I'm going to go through a little story here. Back when I had my manual garage shop, this is before iPhones, this is like BlackBerry CS2 days. So what I would get is these emailed files of the lowest resolution graphic that you could get, right? And I had to train myself Illustrator. I had to train myself Photoshop. I had to train, this is back in lynda.com days, and I struggled through it. If there was a GraphX back in the day, it would have made my life. I mean, that's precisely what I would have done. So what we do specifically is not only do we vectorize stuff, we have 148 artists on staff that do not only simulated process separations, spot color separations, process separations. So we really dig our heels in on the apparel side. And it's not just the screen printing side, embroidery, digitizing, basically anything that is regards to artwork for apparel. That's our mode of operandi. So that's what we do.
That's what you do. And so I think if you're watching right now and you're a busy shop, I think a great way to use GraphXSource is that you're still in control of your art. You guys can still design. It's not replacing your art staff, although plenty of shops are doing that. I'm an ex-art director, and as everybody knows, I'm kind of a control freak. So what I would want to do is I would want to design all the fun stuff, and then stuff that if you're overwhelmed, if you're slammed, if you can't keep up, that's where GraphXSource, I think, really comes in, because you can outsource a lot of that work to that firm, and they can handle it for you in a really quick turnaround with just as good as having somebody right there in your shop. And that can free up a lot of time for your staff to be able to create some really badass stuff, although I'm sure GraphXSource can do that. And that way you're still in control of your process, but you're augmenting what you're doing by downloading and offloading the stuff that really just eats your time. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that, Nick? Did I explain it well?
You summed it up perfectly. I hate to call it the grunt work, but there's foundational tasks like proofing. If you have an amazing creative team, why do you want them proofing? Why do you want them separating? All that heavy lifting can be offloaded and then free up the time for following up with customers, creating artwork for your top 10. So yeah, you summed it up. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Great. Hey, we got some more people joining us, so let's say hello. So Ghost is here from Sweden. How's it going, buddy?
Sweden.
Good morning or good evening, I guess, for you. Charles is here from New Mexico. Good morning, Charles. Hurley says good morning, guys.
Hurley's from Canada.
Charles, great. Charles says, we've recently started using GraphXSource, and it sure helps out. They've done a good job on every piece of art we've sent so far. Great.
Thank you.
Great.
That's good to hear.
Awesome.
Thanks, Charles.
So we've got some topics I wanted to dig into real quick. Let's just start with this trade show update. So you guys are at a trade show, and there is a whole bunch of trade shows coming up for the back half of this year. So give us the update, Alan and Lucas, since you guys are actually at the trade show. What is it like? Do you feel safe? Are a lot of people there? Are people actually even writing business at the trade show? Give us the scoop.
Yeah. So right now, I'm looking around. There are 6 different companies here in the booth right now. They're all looking at small presses, dip tanks, transfer presses. And this is my 3rd show. Lucas and Nick and I, we were all at GraphXSource Indy a few weeks ago. And that show was good also. They're small. The attendance is not there, but the people that are coming to shows are loaded for bear. They are focused. They know what they want. They're looking for specific things in their pre-qualified clients, is what I would think. Lucas, Nick, what do you think about that?
I think the shows have been good. I don't think anyone's ever felt unsafe. They do have some safety measures in at some places, especially in the cities. I've done temperature checks on the way in and stuff.
Yep.
But it seems like the further we get down the road and people getting vaccinated, it seems like they've started to loosen that up a little bit. But I mean, there's a few people with masks every now and again, but for the most part, most people are maskless. And everyone seems pretty comfortable doing business this way. I mean, the shows have been a little smaller than they were before COVID, obviously, but they're coming back and people are excited because this is a giant community and we kind of all missed each other. So we're grateful to be getting back out there and seeing our people again,
Yeah, man. So we did Dallas and then we did Indy, kind of back to back. The Dallas show was amazing. So we worked the Reese booth and, we were right there front and center. So we got the attendance, right as they were coming in. So, so the Dallas booth was, that was the first trade show back, that was, ground zero, industry trade show number one. It was the craziest thing though. So when you walk in, Marshall, everybody was there. We were all there. So when you walk in, you have to scan your temperature, right? They give you the sticker, you put it on your badge, you get in there. The first day at Dallas was a little interesting because, they were hefty on the mask mandate, but by day two, people were just like, you're vaccinated.
The CDC announced that you didn't have to wear masks, and then that just put it into it, right? And
it was awesome.
But still, some people were wearing them, and for me personally, if somebody was wearing a mask and they wanted to talk to me, I would put my mask on. Just because I want people, I have empathy for other people. I want them to be comfortable, and I don't mind doing that. And I got to tell you, as a several decade trade show attendee, I'm using hand sanitizer as much as I can anyway. So it's the only way to go. And I also do the emergency vitamin packet in my water about twice a day when I'm doing those things, just because I don't want to get whatever funk somebody has to begin with, let alone COVID, right? So,
and let's be honest, as trade show veterans, that's always been the case, though. We've always had in the booth hand sanitizer and, upping the vitamin C when you travel as much as we all do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I try not to touch stuff, but you got to shake somebody's hand and you're going to pick up something that somebody just was looking at or whatever. That's just so natural. And so, I always keep a thing in my bag, and every 30 minutes or so, I just give it a little deal. So,
and
so we got some
here,
more people. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. So right now, most people are not wearing masks. There are one or two that are, and I think that's fine. I think, you know what? You want to wear a mask? Wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask? Don't wear one. We have to do personally what we feel is going to be safe. And I'm like you, Marshall. I have a mask with me. If someone I'm going to talk to has a mask on, I'll ask them, would you rather me put one on? And I will. I have no problem.
Yeah, right. I think, to me personally, empathy is what I want to show for other people, and I'm happy to do it, right? So
we are all glad just to be together. And I know Lucas and Nick, that first show in Irving, Texas, we were all together. The best time wasn't the show. As I said before on this, the best time was that first night. Me, Marshall, you, Lucas, Lon Winters, Mark Soldonic, Jason Ballish, we're all out there at the hotel, sitting outside, having a drink, margarita. Just enjoying friends. Margaritas with what was it, Nick? With Grand Marnier in the top, right?
Yeah, well, I like a margarita with salt on rocks with the Grand Marnier float. That's the most Atkinson style margarita.
Yeah, I didn't know who started that, but that was the first time I had that. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool. So,
Marshall's the grand the float. The float. That's a Marshall move right there.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the Marshall margarita.
I'm not a rookie.
And you know what? Same thing at Indy. It was the best times was just hanging out in the evening and hanging out at the shows with people, because whether we compete, whether we work together, whether we just know each other, we are a community, and it's been a long time.
All right, correct me if I'm wrong though. Those chairs were way too low. Those chairs. Sitting on the floor. We were sitting on the floor.
Yeah. That was,
All right, so we got a couple people joining us. Let's make sure we get their comments going. Josh said workflow is the best way. Solid SOPs. Thank you, Josh.
Yep. Can I address that, by the way?
Yeah,
so Josh. All right, I'm gone. See ya. Hey, I have to give Josh like the hugest shout out. So he's an SOP king, right? So like his processes, and he documents his processes extraordinarily well. So with our team, what he does is he'll jump on a video call. Let's say we're trying to teach him how to make artwork for wraps or whatever it is, ganging up transfers, sticker art. So what he'll do is jump on a screen share. We'll record it with his team, and that's the SOP. And Josh is print by the numbers. Yeah, I can't give him enough props. He's a real one,
Great. That's awesome. Hey, Richard is watching from the Wyandotte, Michigan Annual Art Street Fair. And by the way, if you haven't seen his Facebook posts, he is selling his Patrick Nagel art collection. These are original silk screened pieces of art from Patrick Nagel before he passed away. So these are the real deal pieces of art, right? And he's got them in an art gallery right there. And so he's hanging out, doing his thing. So thank you for listening, Richard. We appreciate you.
absolutely, Richard.
And Jeremy Picker's here from Colorado.
I got to give him a shout out. He is the visual, like everything on LinkedIn that JP posts. Like Jeremy's art is always on point, man. He pushes the industry.
He does a great job. And Brian's here, and he has a question. So Nick, I know you do full-time service. Do you also do single jobs as needed also?
Absolutely. I mean, I would say the single jobs represent half of our workflow on a daily basis. So we have a portal. Through that portal, you can order a la carte, and it's not just separations, it's digitizing, revectorization, and custom art. The cool thing about that portal is when you go through and place that a la carte order, we use AWS servers, we use Amazon servers. So you have a historical record of all of your art saved indefinitely to where you can click on a JPEG, go back and pull open, we did the fun run 2016. So you can go back there, pull the vector job, pull the SEPs, whatever you need. So absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay, cool. Thanks. And I've got your website loaded real quick. If somebody wanted to, I'm sharing it right now. So here's your webpage. If they wanted to go and do a one-off thing, where do they go? At the sign up button?
Yeah, precisely. So you will have to create an account. And actually this transitions over. We actually formed a partnership with Marshall. So Marshall has a sign up link to where, it defaults to our page. But Marshall gets a nice little kickback, just saying. So, but yeah, precisely right. So you log in, you create your account. It's going to take you to a dashboard. That dashboard is where you can choose, which service level. Also, you can quote. So let's say you have a complex separation that you need to know, first off, how many colors it's going to be to match your press, which that brings me to another point. Our team is extremely proficient at color crunching, meaning let's say you have a 6-color manual, which is what I had back when I had my garage shop. What I would have to do is always blend colors. If I needed an orange, I'd blend 2 colors to get that orange. So what you can do is either quote it out or go directly to separations. We'll capture how many heads your press has, how many flashes you have, what rip software, what's your film template size, and the deliverable back is going to be a print by the numbers. So base 156, next, whatever Pantone, 230, next 230, next 305, 280. So we really try the deliverable back to the print shop is a print by the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the whole point.
Well, great. Well, thanks for a great explanation.
And guys, Lucas, if I can ask a question. So while we always talk about the 4 of us, we run in that screen print space mostly, but for GraphXSource, this isn't just for screen print. It is art for digitizing, for sign, for HTV, for digital prints. Am I wrong, Lucas, or is that spot on?
All the digital art we do. Also, digitizing for embroidery, which is one of the biggest things we do. Honestly, it's as far as quality goes, we do actual sew outs before we send the file. So we're more expensive up front, honestly, but we're probably, because the way we build our files, you're going to be 20% less in production. So you'll make up all the money in your production run. And plus we do the proofing in house. So when you get a file from us, it's good to go for production. It's very nice, but we also sew out on the substrate you call out. So if you're doing a 6-panel cap, we'll actually do the sew out to make sure it's working on that cap before we give you the file. And if we don't like it, we'll recreate it and make it right before you see it. So we do all that back end stuff for you, which is why we're more expensive up front. But honestly, when you don't have to think about it, it just always works. And especially for little text, we do little text so much better than anyone else.
Here's what I'll tell you is there's always somebody that'll do it cheaper, but nobody does it better, right?
Exactly.
Right.
In the background, guys, that is the most honorable and exalted James Ortolani from Aviance. So,
you know, he's the king of his own mind.
Well, you know, James is a rock star. So he is a rock star. He was famous when I started in the industry. So we are honored just to be in his presence. Did you guys know that when he walks into a show, they play All Hail the King? It was amazing. So he's standing right in front of me blushing right now. So you are there, Nick.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I wanted to share something with you. Oh, nice. Hey, I've got to share this. I'm not sure if I've showed you. I'm pretty sure I've shown Alan this, but we actually did the patches that went on the Apollo mission. So that's how long GraphX has been around. Before it was GraphX, it was Dallas Cap and Emblem. But that's a letter from Richard Nixon with the digitizing that our Digi went on the moon.
Oh, that is cool.
That's small little thing. Little thing.
Awesome.
So Marshall, from doing stuff on the Apollo mission to doing the artwork for our prints on a couple weeks ago.
I know that's amazing, isn't it?
Dude, that print came out primo. Dude, Mark did such a good job.
It's kind of the same Apollo mission Q&A with Alan Marshall. Same.
Right. Hey, so let's share some more people saying hello. So Mark says those chairs. Mike's from California saying hello again. What's up, Mike? Good to see you. Simon says, good morning, gentlemen, and Alan. He always has to take that knife and twist it, doesn't he?
Oh, I love Simon. I don't know why.
And Lyra, who is my virtual assistant, says, good morning, everyone, and she's watching from the Philippines. So Lyra, Alan, let's hear some Filipino language. I know you know some.
Lyra, magandang umaga. So,
margarita.
Magandang umaga, which is good morning in Tagalog.
Yeah.
So incredible.
So thank you, Lyra, for watching, and she is going to be updating and posting my social media with this stuff later today. So thanks for watching, Lyra. I appreciate it. So let's get to our next topic, which is what did we do? Automating creative. It's going to be best practices for sales. So all three of you guys are killer, awesome salespeople. So can you guys name, and we'll start with you, Lucas, name a couple best practices that you do every day that allow you to exceed in what you do?
Well, sales is all about communication and trust. And so the way you build that is questions. And so long as you make it about them and ask the right questions, sales are natural workflow. And it's nice being with GraphXSource because we're the common sense solution to all the we are the answer to all the questions. So I just ask a few. I'm like, how long did that take you? Way too long. I know. I'm sorry about it, but I can help with that too. It's all it is. It's questions Pointed questions. That's the only and being authentic and helping when you can. And you know what? Sometimes you're not a right fit, and be okay with that.
Right.
Be okay with not being the right fit, and then help them steer them in the right direction. Don't just abandon ship. It's like, I'm not good at that, but these guys are, and I think so long as you have their best interest in mind, sales is easy, and it's just relationship building. That's all it is. And if you care about people, sales is easy.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What about you, Nick?
Man, I'm going to piggyback on that, dude. Being a trusted advisor, whether, you're the right fit or not, that's you can't fake that, right? It's something, if you have the best, the shop or the person's best interest in mind, it shines through everything. Mm-hmm. And, really, really finding solutions for customers is the key. But also I'm going to use that. I just got back from Boise. I visited this incredible shop. They're part of the fully promoted, that ecosystem. But I'll give you a case study with that customer. Early on, they grew, and early on it was the a la carte services, and as they grew into a staffing solution. But through that process, really finding them not only the right solutions, but they were having problems with ink. Like they were using this certain distributor, and they were having stocking issue. There was issues. So just being that person to say, hey, you're in this region, why don't you try person X, Y, and Z? And that person helped, and you make that connection, you make that introduction, and people don't forget that kind of stuff. It's really, trusted advisor. I'm gonna harken it back to the Sandler system, which I know Alan's a big proponent of. Asking the right questions, really being that trusted advisor to the shop is invaluable.
So
and then the resources.
What is the sandwich system? So somebody hadn't heard about that.
Sandler. It was developed by Adam Sandler.
Right. Sandler,
he was filming Happy Gilmore.
I didn't understand what he said.
Shoot him a Gavin, baby. Just
that's right.
So the Sandler system, it's I don't know when it was founded, but it's a process of really asking the right questions and being that trusted advisor, and it's the thing, I feel like some sales systems are just kind of more geared towards get the sale. You're going to be the best, like number one. Like the Sandler system is it's a much more holistic approach. Like, you have the end goal. The end goal is helping the customer, really, like, which, I mean, that should be the goal anyway, but like having that reiterated, like, it's killer, man. Like
Yeah. So instead, Nick, I think most people in sales, they're going benefits and pros and cons and things like that. The Sandler system is basically asking questions. Find a problem. Is there a pain point? Find a solution. Don't be afraid to ask about the budget, which is hard when you're new in sales. Nobody wants to talk about money, but get that out of the way up front, any obstacles, and then create solutions. And that's it. And you stay within that model. And, Nick, I don't know about you. I mean, I went through Sandler in the late 90s, and now it's just fluid. Yeah. You learn that no is okay. If someone says no and there's a door there, keep that relationship, stay in contact with them, but move on.
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. Yeah, no is an acceptable answer. Again, there's not going to be. It's if you approach sales as 100% fit 100% of the time, it's just that's a losing model versus that holistic. Let's help each other out. That's the point.
Yeah.
Our trainer, he was pretty adamant about never send a piece of literature, never send a sample, and I agree with that, but what it's made me do is focus on, especially in the chemical side where people want samples. I'd rather say, I'll come in, I'll bring the samples, let's do some screens together.
Impactful,
and show the problem. Yeah.
Right. Spilling your candy.
Yeah, that's not what they called it, but it's spilling your candy. But yeah.
So That's great. So one of the things I've learned from really great salespeople along the way, because I'm an operational guy, that's kind of my wheelhouse, right? Sales really isn't. So I leave that to the professionals. But what I've really enjoyed by talking with really great salespeople is the fact that you need to consistently follow up. And
Absolutely.
a lot of people, I think, they abandon the process. And when the customer actually makes the sale, isn't the second or third or fourth time you follow up, it's the 16th, right?
Mhm.
That's where the sales happens, is you just keep consistently checking in, seeing what's going on, showing them your value. And when they're ready, when they have that need, that's when you're top of mind for them, because you've been there for them the whole way. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I've always went under the principle of 7 touches, where it's a phone call where you're meeting them, and usually you're not going to get well, it sounds a little creepy, but when it's said that way, only the way you say it, Nick. But it could be a shop visit, a phone call, an email. And usually as you're moving down that process, you're never going to get the sale. If you get a sale first time, I'm usually worried. If they say yes right away, something's wrong.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag. Check their credit immediately and make sure they have money. It happens, but usually that means they've been down that process already, and I've come in at the back door of it already. So, at the end of it. So again, it is do what you say what you do, and do what you say. Follow up, stay in touch. And if they have a problem, be the solution and work that solution.
Right. So Lyra, by the way, says, nice to meet you. Should I attempt to say this? Magandang Umaga.
Magadan Umaga.
How about that?
Magadan Umaga.
I probably just said, we're having fish for dinner, but who knows?
You just ordered some food for sure.
And then Simon says, if you know your product and service well, you can help your potential customer identify all the things that they need that they don't currently have that you can offer. So great, Simon.
I think too, that's the other thing, is sometimes people don't know what their pain points are.
Right.
So they don't realize they have a problem. Sometimes you got to point that out.
Yeah. Cal's in the house. What's up, guys?
What up, Cal?
Cal's a man.
Jeremy says, set up for heartbreak. Align yourself with people that value the things you value. That has helped me not take rejection personally. Should be mutual. So thanks, Jeremy. Great comment.
Absolutely.
And then Greg says, gentlemen. And then Cal says, whatever that means, means good morning.
Magadanu Maga means good morning. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks, Cal. Interesting that you know that.
Hey, Marshall, would you mind going back on the sales side? How do you guys?
No.
So I
actually have to. I have to do an actual sale, so I'm going to be right back. I have to go talk with the boys at Rowboat Creative, so I'll be right back.
Look at that. Lucas. Name dropping. Way to go, Lucas. We'll miss you though.
Hey, in regards to the sales side, how often do you guys? So I've started to communication via text is kind of my. It's a new, it's kind of the form of communication.
SMS?
How much SMS?
Yeah.
What percentage of follow-up is done via text? Because I would say probably 3/4.
I think it's the generation of your client. If you're a guy like me, if you text me, I don't really like that. So I like emails because that's what I'm comfortable with. I think you have to communicate in the style that your customer wants, not what's convenient for you, right? So that's a question that you should ask. Hey, how would you like for me to communicate with you on the next step? I think that's a really great question to ask. Yeah. And then just follow their lead. Is it by phone? Is it by text? Is it by email? I don't want to be called. I'm too busy for a phone call because I have calls and stuff all day. I want you to email me. That's preferable for me. Right?
Yeah. I think texting is just another tool that can be used in that process. You find out if some people don't like it, they prefer email or phone call, great. But it is just another tool to be used, but don't overuse it. Sometimes I think we overuse email and text, and that takes away from the personal relationship.
One thing that I really struggle with on the sales side is the leads come in from so many, Instagram Messenger, Facebook Messenger, text message, email. fax, like, you know, you can go down the list. Like,
who's faxing?
Dude, people still fax. People, yeah, dude, turn your phone to fax mode, right?
Do people still ride horses everywhere? Because that's what that feels like.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. So
who sends faxes? Amish people.
Yeah. When they're building their wooden furniture.
Right.
No, I mean, I have to say in the sales cycle, that's one thing that I really struggle with is like all the different avenues. So like, you know, I need to build a better schedule of, okay, now's when I check Facebook. Now's when I check Instagram Messenger. Because I'm in Skype, email, phone call, text message mode 90% of the time. You know, that's what represents the bulk of the business coming through.
Right.
I need to budget the time better on those avenues.
I use, you know, Shirt Lab, I think it was Washington, D.C. Shirt Lab St. Louis gave us the app that I use still, which is called ManyChat. So I have a ManyChat account for Facebook. I guess it works with Instagram too, where somebody is chatting with me on Facebook. I don't really see it till they get to the point where it can't answer the question. And then it says, would you like to talk to a human? And then I get the thing that tells me that somebody's there with a question. And so, you know, because I'm not on those channels much,
right?
Because I'm doing other things, but I want to take care of people. So that type of automated service has really helped me. And what I do is I redirect people, and I say, hey, email is my personal mode of communication. I don't check this stuff regularly. If you want to send me an email, I'll see that sooner, because like Facebook, I only check Facebook maybe twice a day, and that's it. Right.
Yeah.
And it's a hit and run at best. I just see what's going on, and then I'm off doing something else.
Right.
Because I've got a lot of stuff that I'm creating. Right.
I mean, speaking of, you know, this is case in point. It's you know.
Yeah.
You know, I also find text, if someone gets a hold of me on Instagram or Facebook Messenger, and I'm not sure who they are, what they want, I will reply to them that way, but also say, instead of direct message me, you know, if it's evening, you can call. Here's my cell phone number. You're welcome to call me, and that's precisely a qualifier too of how much time they want.
I have to move it over to the email. I have to move it over to the phone call or email. Or when can I contact you? What's the best way? And we set up a scheduled time.
So we've got some real good comments I want to get out here. So Simon says, don't take rejection personally. Just come up with a plan to kill everyone in the room, metaphorically speaking, of course. Thanks, Simon.
Absolutely.
All right, the police are on their way. And Mike says, don't underestimate faxing. And he makes a great point. And Mike, you're going to have to give us the details on this. But in our Shirt Lab Tribe Q&A a couple weeks ago, Mike was telling us about how he did I think it was a back to school program where he faxed all the schools in the state of California for back to school stuff. And I think you made
genius
$12,000 worth of sales in about an hour.
Yeah.
Right? Something like
genius.
That. I can't remember the amount. So can you share exactly what you did, or just give us the gist of it?
That's
and
smart.
I want to make sure I get the facts right. That was a pun. So,
well, I think
that dad joke there. I just throw that in there.
You know what, guys? I think on that, remember back in the day, you probably don't, Nick, because you were probably in diapers, but Marshall, remember when every morning you'd go into the office and there'd be 1,000 spam faxes?
Yes.
But now it's so rare. Can you imagine getting a fax on there? You'd actually stop and read it.
Right.
So,
right.
you know, it's almost reversed.
That was Mike's theory, right?
Yeah.
So,
we still get ACH numbers faxed over, which is like,
that's awesome. Yeah, good. Now we can keep that for my own personal use.
Yeah. So, what are some really other great sales tips, Nick? What do you? Oh, here's what I want to share is you shared with me that you use an app called Streak, which is a Chrome extension to help you build sales pipelines with email. And I've been kind of messing around with it a little bit. I'm not quite at the 7th degree black belt samurai level that you are.
Oh, come
So
on.
why don't you share what that is and kind of walk everyone through it a little bit?
Yeah. So in regards to sales, like you have to write it down, and it's difficult when you're out on the road, right? Because back in the day, I used to just email myself like, hey, this is what we spoke about, follow up X, Y, and Z. The reason I like Streak, so I've used about 4 different CRMs. The first CRM that I used was called Skyrise, which was a very rudimentary CRM, but we're talking a decade ago, right? So CRM has advanced, exponentially as things have progressed. So the second one was Mass 200, which was super expensive. It was like $1 million program. It was boisterous to follow up, so you would take down notes. It wasn't the best tool whatsoever. The third one that we used was Sage's, why am I drawing a blank? NetSuite, which was, again, an extremely expensive solution. Yeah. It was good. It did a lot of things that were, follow up was easy. It geotagged everything. It was, easy to follow up with stuff. But lately I've been using Streak, it's relatively affordable. It's a Chrome extension. And the reason I like Streak is it's easy to document things. And the pipelines, you set up the pipelines yourself. So it's, step 1, step 2, step 3. But the thing about Streak is everything is geotagged. So you can see, which is kind of a little bit Big Brother-ish, but you see when an email was opened, you see when an email was forwarded. But the reason I like it so much.
I'm sharing the Streak website right now.
That's cool.
Nick.
Yeah.
And, so you've got these pipelines that you can custom build with words and colors and everything. And how it works is you create a sales box that you can tag for follow-up, set a date. And then you can move them to the next step in the pipeline to move them along in the sales process. And I think it's really kind of a really cool thing. They've got mail merge. They've got a lot of really cool features. And
the cool thing about their mail merge too is you can put in custom fields, meaning that, I want to follow up with Jeremy Picker on X, Y, and Z. I want to follow up with Cal on X, Y, and Z. So you can mail merge. I think the max you can mail merge is 3,000 emails at a time, but you can personalize every single one just by adding in a custom feature. So it could say Marshall Allen, X, Y, and Z. Here's what we're doing. We're going to be at ISS Fort Worth, which is going to be the coolest shirt lab of all time. Just saying.
We'll talk about that later,
awesome.
folks.
Yeah, man. So I love Streak, man. It's Brent Gardner, the owner of the company, brought Streak to my attention. We started using it around 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago. And it's simple. It's not overcomplicated, which is what I like. So, I mean, it's about getting to the end goal, right? And that's a very effective tool.
Right.
So, guys, I don't want to interrupt, but there's some people that were in front of us. We're going to give them a little shout out. They handed me their cards, Specialty Printing in Shawnee, Kansas. So Jeremy just gave me his card. So, guys, thanks for watching and being here. So,
hey, thanks.
So they actually
Nice.
new customers from the deal. You just heard that. So they have it on the phone. They're watching on the delay. So.
Yeah, there's like a 20-second delay.
It is a 20-second delay. So because Nick will cuss a lot, so we have to censor it out.
Yeah.
So Nick will say awful things.
It's the like the Super Bowl. We'll worry about a nipple. Yeah. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
So Mike, by the way, he got back with us on the fax thing. So we said we had a bunch of people complain about it, but we took them off our list. I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep testing it. It was profitable. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy.
That's a creative revenue stream.
There.
Just saying. That's a new one for me, for sure.
You know what? Who knew faxing would be creative again? And you know what, Mike? I think if it's profitable, then you know what to do. If people want off,
precisely.
I want to say unsubscribe, but that's not it. Take them off the list.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. All right. Here's our last topic today. Keeping customers happy, right? We want happy customers, right? So what are y'all's best tips for keeping everyone where you surprise and delight, and they're so thrilled with you that, man, price, it doesn't even matter anymore because they're in your corner and they got that loyalty going. So what do you guys like to do?
I think go ahead. Okay. No, Nick, you. No, so here all right, I'll go. I love Nick having him on the show. So I think it still goes back to Sandler. When you build a relationship and you're taking care of solutions to their problems, there's a trust factor already. In today's world, problems are going to happen. There's going to be a misdelivery. You're going to mess up an order. There's going to be something. It can be small. Take care of it immediately, own it, and move on. What happens is when people have problems and those things drag on, they're exhausting because all they remember is that one little minute problem. It's not taken care of urgently and handled, and now it's building because of the next thing that will happen. And so take care of the problems, handle them quickly, customer first, just get it done, and then worry about everything else later.
Mm-hmm.
For us, if there's a leak in a dip tank, we replace it right away. We worry about everything else. Keep the customer happy. We'll deal with the after effects with the dealer on it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to use a case study considering we have, a customer, Josh. Like we'll use Josh as a perfect example. This is a very real case study on keeping customers happy. So his artist that we placed initially, she was good and she's still really good. But there's a major learning curve, right? It's learning everybody's fingerprint. And Josh has a very specific fingerprint to a shop, which is, he's built that over years. It's because of education and really wanting to get it done right. So keeping Josh happy is a combination of not only addressing problems as fast as we can, but in the right ways. So, I mean, Josh can attest, like, what we'll do is schedule a call with the team and get everybody on the same page. So it's not segmented information. You're not, can you guys hear me okay? It's kind of chopping up a little bit. But
you're fine.
Nope, hear you fine.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, like in Josh's case, we'll set a time, we'll get the entire team on it. And then as a collaborative, really jump on it as that blanket approach, which I feel like is kind of the point. But yeah, I mean, it's really like Alan, to Alan's point, it's addressing issues and getting them fixed as expedited as you can, but then also documenting those issues too. So if it's something that continues to happen and it continues to happen, then there's a process or a system that's broken and that needs to be addressed. So really, keeping track of those instances is a key. So we do it in two different ways. On the staffing side, with Josh's side, we document that with the artist. We have like an error form. If it's like a major mistake, then we document it on an error form. And if it's, too many, then that's not good for both parties. On the a la carte website, we have an alerts page. So let's say a separation comes back wrong or a mesh count was called out incorrectly. We can track all those alerts, and we address the alerts first as opposed to new orders, because that's when the press is down. That's when you need an immediate fix versus when we get back to you on that one, So yeah, I think a combination of just addressing whatever the issue is quickly, and then also if it continues, then that's not going to work. That's not a good thing. So
I will give you go ahead, Mark.
I think it really comes down to taking ownership of what's going on. And I think and I know from being in this industry for as long as I have, not everybody does that. That some people try to push the blame on somebody else instead of trying to find the solution right now to how it works. And I remember I was working at a shop. This must have been 10 years ago or so. And we did some shirts for an event and we shipped them FedEx. They were quite a ways away. And the plane that the shirts were on crashed, right? So now there's no shirts for this event. And we knew that we could, FedEx was going to get us the money for the replacement, but we're not going to have time to deal with that. So we went ahead, ordered the shirts, printed the shirts, and shipped them again. And we couldn't do it for that Friday delivery. So we did them Saturday morning that day, shipped to the event site. And let me tell you how wonderful that client thought we were, because we solved the problem without them even asking us.
Man.
Right. That's how you keep customers for life, is doing stuff like that. Right. So,
hey, I've got a story in that vein, by the way. There's a term called force majeure. Do you guys know the term force majeure?
Yeah, from in band contracts.
Yeah, dude.
Basically means act of God.
Act of God. So barrel maker printing, this was back in the early days of rock. I sold them this rock, like there was none in the States. This is back when we would have to import them as per sale, right? So you can't replace it. I mean, this is irreplaceable goods. And they build it, the press is built for its own self.
Yeah.
So I'm at the customer shop. We get the base off, it was UPS freight specifically. We get the base unloaded from the UPS freight truck. And I was like, it's really weird that they didn't ship the heads with the base. Like they come together, it is what it is. They're two different pallets. But I was like, that's really strange. That's really strange that the heads didn't arrive at the same time. So we unload the base. End of the day comes, I'm calling UPS freight like, hey, we can't build a press without heads, right? That's kind of the point. So we can't print T-shirts if there's no heads. So UPS freight that night, couldn't get a hold of them. They're like, we don't know what's going on. Second day rolls around, I'm stressing, like, hey, listen, like these have to get here. I have a flight approaching, I'm there with the technician, like I was going to train him on it. Day 3 arrives. I'm like, do I push back the flight? So like I ended up getting on the flight, and long story short, 6 months later, the heads arrived they shipped back to Ryonet. The truck had rolled, like the UPS freight truck rolled. So we had to reorder heads. It was a thing. It was a thing. Fortunately, man. I mean, back to God.
And I think those cases are far and few between. So let me give a story of what not to do. So I'm not going to say the dealer's name.
Here it comes.
So I have a client that I've known for 30 years. He goes on his own about 8 years ago, starts printing in his house. And he's ordering from a dealer. It's one of my dealers and stuff. And they're shipping to the house, no problem. 6 years ago, he moves to his own shop. This dealer cannot fix and he keeps shipping product to the guy's house. 6 years. And every time that happens, the client, the printer just gets madder and madder and madder. Guess who he doesn't order from anymore? The dealer.
Right.
How come they couldn't update the shipping address? What's the deal with that?
I have no idea. I told them and stuff, but yeah.
WorldShip stores historical data, and it's not good. So like, even if you write up the PO right, WorldShip will like auto default to, okay, I've shipped it to Alan, and it's not good.
Yeah. But hey, we got some comments, so let's get them out. Simon says you're not measured on the successes, you're measured on how you deal with the crap that hits the fan.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Simon.
Those are words to live by.
Peter says, hey guys, Pete and Val from Sweet Teas for You in Port Huron. We will have to watch later. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate you.
I met Peter at Graphics Pro Indy.
Yeah, good.
And right in Port Huron, Michigan, they are. So yeah.
Nice. And then Simon says Techmar is currently operating under force majeure due to the global supply chain issues. Basically, all bets are off on delivery and pricing. And agreed. I can't tell you how many comments I've seen on Facebook lately where people are bitching because their normal supplier is out of ink, or they're out of a product, or they can't ship it, or there's some sort of delay, and everybody's like, these people suck, and blah, 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 blah. And I want to tell you that everybody, and I mean everybody, is dealing with this right now. Yeah. And it's not just you. And the other thing is people are raising their prices, and people are bitching because they're raising their prices. And let me tell you, nobody wants to be raising prices.
Yeah.
But they're forced to because of it's the dominoes of what's going on because of COVID. And you have to just just play into that and accept it. And Absolutely. This is where we're going with things. And nobody wants to make you upset. Right?
Hey, Marshall and Alan, you guys both know Rafa from Nike, right? Raphael?
Yes.
Correct?
I don't know him well, but I know who he is.
Yeah, man. So he just did a Printavo podcast. I believe it dropped yesterday, and him explaining the global supply chain was, dude. I didn't realize there was a container shortage. Like not only like a shipping shortage, but people are like bidding. There's no containers to ship. So,
well, you're exactly right. And it used to be about $3,000 or so to get a container over from Asia or China or whatever. It's like $12,000 now, right, or more, right?
Oh, it's outrageous.
So that's the reason why you're seeing all this craziness. Is just because, and then not only that, but you can have something on a container ship and it's just sitting in the Pacific Ocean with no date on when it's going to unload,
or a ship blocks the canal for like 5 days.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Shutting down the global economy.
Right. So Jeremy says, read the news, people. It's kind of a global big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that, Jeremy, people aren't reading the news and they just think, oh, that won't happen to me, right? They're not connecting the dots. I don't get it.
And you know what? As a manufacturer, we do not I have to be the bearer of bad news. Here at the show, I had to have a talk with the dealer on something because of our raw material issue. Yeah. And I know what their ink suppliers here had to have that conversation on a raw material issue. We don't enjoy it because it's almost daily. The manufacturers don't like it, the distributors don't like it, and the printers don't like it. Yeah. Welcome to the world we're in. Here's all I can do is keep my dealers informed quickly, honestly, and openly, and have them communicate to their clients.
Alan,
and that's what we can do.
Sorry. I think on some degree, there's going to be some products or something that's going to be like lobsters. It's just going to be today's market price. It's what it is today.
I got a case of Richardson's that I'll sell you for $90 a hat.
Oh, $90 a hat. I mean, what do you think this is? Plywood? Come on. It's a hat. It's like, yeah.
Right. All right. So,
but you know what? We have a product, and we're going, what do we do if the raw materials go up? And we kind of were laughing, on our price list, it'll be like fresh fish market price.
Yep.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
I know everybody's going through that. So, but I will say, I am so proud. Easy Way has managed this raw material issues about as well as anybody.
Domestic manufacturers, man. Domestic manufacturers have crushed during this time.
Well, but then domestic manufacturers, but then, the raw material, the freeze in Texas, also where a lot of stuff is made, is still put that added to the domino effect too. So, yeah.
Yep. I think the best thing,
but it still comes to communication.
I think the best thing you can do right now for your shop is understand that everybody's going through the same thing. Have a little empathy. Ask really good questions. There's somebody wants to help you. It's not like they don't want to help you, right? But you're going to have to make decisions based on what's best for you. So if a supplier is out of something, I would recommend you have a backup plan. Alan, before the show, you were telling me about somebody was actually they were getting something from you guys because their the company they use was out of stock and you were able to fill the order, right?
We have multiple opportunities that way.
So there's a lot of stuff that's happening like that. And so I think right now is the time to be, this is the best time ever to go to a trade show. Right?
Absolutely.
Because you need you've got your primary guy. Who's your backup? Who's the backup to that backup? Yep. Right. This is where you find this stuff out. It's not sitting in your office. Right. And the other thing, and this is going to be my segue into Shirt Lab Fort Worth, is that Shirt Lab Fort Worth is coming up, and it's right after the ISS Fort Worth show, which is September the 10th through the 12th. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our event starts Sunday night on the 12th with a networking event at the new Printed Threads facility in Fort Worth. That's Brett Bowden's shop. And then we have education on Monday and Tuesday. And I want to just quickly share our website here. And I want to show the itinerary of who we're talking about. So we have the always awesome Ken Seidel, he's a sales leader. He used to work for a lot of big name companies, UPS, Jerseys, Fruit of the Loom, Alpha Broder. He's got the background. He's our master of ceremonies for the whole event, right? Tom Rowan is going to be talking about something with sales. Alan, your buddy Jason, is doing a whole thing on a workshop on how to properly film video to sell on social media, right?
Let me give a little plug for Jason. Jason has dealt with companies, small startups, and companies, little ones such as like Ashton Martin. So knows the stuff.
Yeah. And so it's going to be phenomenal. I was talking with him about a week ago about it. And let me tell you how pumped he is. It's going to be, here's what you got to do. 1, 2, 3. You got to block a shot. You got to do this. Here's how you set it up. Here's how you do the lighting. Here's how you do those sounds. Here's how you do the thing, right? He's sharing those tips. We have Jonathan Tynes with Kickprint in Pacific, Missouri. Yeah. You know, he used to have a small print shop that grew. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but didn't you sell him his press?
I sold him everything. Yeah. So yeah, seeing JT, you know, when Kickprint, you know, they started out in their garage on an Antec Legend manual, and I saw him all the way through to, I believe the last place he was at was like 7,000 or 10,000 square foot. Yeah. We laid out their shop, you know, drank a bunch of, they're in Missouri, so you have to drink Budweiser if you're, you know, in the motherland, you know, so we sat there and drank Budweiser with his production manager and laid out a shop. They got 2 presses, big dryer, you know, awesome darkroom setup. Yeah. Seeing their growth was, I mean,
and then Nick, he sold all of it.
Yeah.
And now he's just print brokering. So he's going to share his journey and be available to talk to people who might be thinking about that, right? So if that's something that you are considering, here's a guy who's actually done it for real. Okay.
Yeah.
Eric Campbell, our good buddy, right, is going to be sharing how to build embroidery pricing that goes beyond just how to do it with a stitch count. Brittany Long is an expert in lead generation, drip marketing, email campaigns, right? And then for Shirt Lab Tribe members, we have an exclusive Shirt Lab Tribe session with our keynote speaker, Jeffrey Gittimer, on sales. It's like a Q&A session for 30 minutes. He's going to be answering questions and doing stuff just for our tribe members. And then that night we have our VIP dinner, which is just going to be phenomenal. And then day 2, you know, I'm leading a whole thing on idea generation using the theory of using constraints to help unlock ideas. Michelle Moxley's doing a whole thing on the future of the industry. And let me tell you, this is the exact person to lead that discussion because, you know, what does she do for a living? Do you know, Alan? What does Michelle Moxley do for a living?
Michelle Moxley is with M&R, and she is in charge of everything digital, from the Maverick to the Hybrid to the Polaris. She's awesome.
R&D.
She's the director of R&D for M&R, right? That's like her actual title, right?
She's the first.
Pretty amazing.
To do simulated process separations. This is like back like CS1, right? She used to work for this company called Latitudes, which was right in Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
And I remember sitting behind her desk watching her do sim process steps. You know, this is before any automation. Like, she is a genius, literally, like not figuratively, very literally a genius.
Yeah, and then we have Richard Greaves, our good buddy, talking about growth culture communication, about how you have to have the right communication both internally and externally with your customers. And then we have Mark Coudray. He's got a brand new talk that he's developing just for Shirt Lab about the physics of profit. This is how you become a more profitable company, right? I can't wait for that one. And then we're going to wind up the day with Jeffrey Gittimer, his keynote, all about sales, right? And then we're also, for each day, at the end of the day, there is a roundtable panel discussion with each of the day's folks, and it's a Q&A session that you guys get to ask questions and all that kind of stuff, right? So what a lineup. I'm so excited about it. I can hardly stand it, right? So all you got to do is just go to, let me share the link. shirtlablive.com is where you go, and you can buy your tickets are on sale. We launched that on Monday this past week. And then if you look on my social media feed, I made a great, actually, my virtual assistant Lyra, if she's still watching, made a fantastic video from clips and pictures and videos of all 5 of our previous events. And I've shared that all over my social media. And if you've got a minute, you should watch it. And it came out fantastic. And she did such a great job. So, hey, look who's back.
Dude, Brian's comment has me cracking up, by the way.
I'm looking at that. Yeah.
What do you say? I've had multiple customers say, this wouldn't affect t-shirts, hats, or ink. My response is 2 words: toilet paper. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Summed it up right there. That's a perfect one-liner.
And Brian has been to a couple Shirt Labs, so thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. And he's a tribe member also, so he's always doing
we're getting a digital walkthrough on the
look at that.
Trainers there.
Lucas is back and he's walking around.
Oh, what?
I'm not sure where he's at right now. Lucas, where are you at? Can you hear us?
Yeah,
I'm muted because I don't want to be all distracting and loud.
Yeah, that's my job.
I have FOMO, man. I want to be there, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, walk over to where Alan's sitting and show Alan sitting.
You're on mute, Lucas.
I'll make my way over there.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a show. It should be
It's
huge.
Show's massive.
He has the wide angle lens on.
But it's a show, man. I love those DAC shows. They take care of the exhibitors so well. With the lunch at the
there's our sponsor, GSG. Walk around there a little bit.
Yeah, who's at the GSG?
Who's working the booth, Alan? Do you know?
Liz Beavers is there. The Oklahoma branch manager. Steve Guthrie.
Is that
right
Liz?
there? No, that's not Liz. Liz will be over by the embroidery machine. There's Steve Guthrie.
Oh, there's Liz. Pan back to the left a little.
No, other way.
Other left.
Other left.
There's Liz right there by the embroidery machine.
By the embroidery machine.
Lucas, go to the right.
This is like a video game.
Right there, Liz Beavers, right there.
Oh, she's selling something.
Tell Liz say hi. It's Liz Beavers
hey,
from
GSG. Live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Liz, they want you to say hi. Sorry.
Hi. Hey.
Hey, Liz. How you doing?
Out there.
Good.
You're doing good.
It's the Q&A show. Tell us the Q&A show, Lucas.
It's a Q&A show.
Yeah, you're all mine.
And then Steve Guthrie is the branch manager for Tulsa, I think. Tulsa or Oklahoma City.
Is that one of those new, what is that the new
ZS?
What is that?
I think that's a brother right there.
Oh, interesting.
Is that GPX?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Oh, cool.
GPX Pro, yeah.
That's the poly one, right? That's the one that does poly?
No, this is the industrial version. It's got a larger ink tank.
Oh, really?
And I know a bunch of people that have it, and they love it. So.
Oh, dude, the show looks incredible, man. I'm definitely jealous that I'm not there.
On the Alan podcast thing.
Cool.
All right, let's go see you.
Well,
come see me, and you got to take a picture of the Easy Way dip tank and stuff like that. So, how you doing? I can't see who you are. Someone's saying hi to me. I don't know who you are. Aaron Bouchane is here. Aaron Buchanan is here. Say hi. So there is. Hey guys, say hi. Hold on, Aaron, right there. Say hi. Lucas, get a picture of the Easy Way thing right here.
Oh,
it just flipped upside down.
That's funny. He's now in Australia.
Down in the. Put another shrimp on the bottom.
Our new dip tank right there. So yeah.
Yeah, great.
Oh, what? Nice, looking good.
Oh, look at Brian will be at Fort Worth too. That's awesome.
So the dip tank holds what, 3 screens?
The dip tank is new. That's a PT 525. It holds 2 screens, but it also has a ledge where you can set the one screen up, let the chemical drain back into it.
Oh, great.
It's a lot thinner, so a lot more space compatible on it. So it's great.
Hey, Alan, the other Brian, dude, he loves his filtration unit, by the way. So
good. Brian Garcia, from up in Wisconsin.
I appreciate you making me walk out with that, by the way. Appreciate that.
So I had the show at GPX Indy. One of Nick's friends and customers was looking at a EDF 100 filtration. When I left the show, I said, you know what? I'll give it for you this price, and we'll make Nick Wood carry it out to the car for you.
Oh, and right.
That was part of the close.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you made Nick Wood do something.
I mean, you put me to work. It was nice. It was actually really nice.
Well, I knew you and him were real tight. You were buddies and stuff.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he loved it. I might actually have a picture of Nick holding that thing.
That's right. We did.
I might have shot a video of Nick walking that out for Mr. Garcia. I might have to share that with you guys at some point.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, good times. So,
all
guys,
right, well, hey, we're over our time, so we need to wrap up. So, hey, Lucas, we'll give you the first last word. So, why don't you have a comment or something?
All I can say is it doesn't make sense not to use this. So, give us a call, and we're going to help you out a lot.
All right, cool. Hey, Nick, you're up next, buddy.
Marshall, Allen, I really appreciate you guys. It's awesome to catch up, and what you guys are doing for the industry is, it takes stuff like this to change the industry. So, appreciation is an understatement. So, I thank you guys for considering us. Really appreciate you guys.
And you know what? We do what you guys do. We're sharing information, trying to just give solutions. So, thank you for being on the show, Marshall. Next week, who do we have?
Next week we have Josh Ellsworth
from Stalls.
Stalls.
So,
and we're hoping that Alan can make the show. And we have a timing issue, so either Alan's going to be there or Josh will be guest hosting with me.
Josh just heard about it like right now. So
we haven't even told him yet. So but it's always good to hear from Josh, and Stalls does such a good job. So it's going to be lots of fun. So
thank you.
Anyway, everyone have a fantastic weekend. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. See ya.
Hey, Marshall, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out real. Hold on, Marshall. I want to give a shout out real quick. To Scott Ritter and Dax. They were great at helping me set up last minute here.
Great. So thank you guys.
Cool.
Peace.
See ya.